Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Qurrata Muzahida. I'm from TBIE. In this video, our group will present about meaning. First, I will explain about in semantic and pragmatics. Meaning is the message conveyed by words, sentence, symbol in a context. In the study of meaning, there are two, namely semantic and pragmatic. Then, what is semantic in meaning? Semantic discusses how in a sentence it can contain a clear meaning of truth and the appropriate choice of words to make sentence, so that the sentence contains the appropriate meaning. However, pragmatic, the study of aspects of meanings and language use that depend on speaker, deciphers, and other features of the context of speech. To see the difference between semantic and pragmatic, there are two types of meaning in general. First is literal meaning, and second non-literal meaning. Literal meaning to study semantic and non-literal meaning to study pragmatic. Literal meaning are also as known conventional meanings. In traditional, literal meaning is also called context-independent meaning. There are also those who mention explicit meaning. So, what is a literal meaning? The literal meaning is based on actual words or the real meanings. They do not use figurative or symbolic language. When the speaker speaks literally, he or she does not have hidden meanings in his or her words. So it is not used by corrective or symbolic language. It is real meanings. Different from non-literal meanings, non-literal meanings occurs when the speaker's meaning different from what the real meanings of the words or sentence. When the speaker speaks something lacks in sentence or utterance, which imply the different meaning from its real meanings, or we can say they have hidden meanings and they are non-literal meanings. So this happens when the speaker's meaning is different from the actual meaning of word or sentence. So there is something to hide. It has to do with context.
Indirect relation between word and world. Jadi di sini saya akan menjelaskan tentang apakah hubungan tidak langsung antara kata dan kenyataannya. When I say house, what do you think about that? What is your concept, thought, idea, sense, possibly image do you think inside of your mind? Ketika saya berkata house, rumah, apakah yang ada di pikiran Anda? Apakah konsep atau pikiran, ide, gambaran yang mungkin Anda pikirkan? Maybe you will think about maybe apartment, maybe a cottage, or maybe a rent house, and etc. Kamu mungkin akan berpikir tentang apartemen atau pondokan kecil atau juga kos-kosan dan sebagainya. Whatever, apapun itu. But actually what I mean in this house is what is appeared in the picture. Walaupun sebenarnya yang saya maksud itu adalah yang ada di gambar itu. Apakah kalian berpikiran sama dengan yang saya pikirkan? Yakni gambaran rumah seperti di atas. Contoh lain. Gold is getting more and more expensive. Emas semakin mahal dan semakin mahal lagi. what idea, concept, thought, image do you think when you hear this sentence? Jadi, apakah ide atau konsep atau pikiran atau gambaran yang kamu pikirkan ketika mendengar kata-kata tersebut, terutama gold, emas? Kesimpulannya adalah, for every person, the word gold evokes a different picture, idea, concept, etc. Untuk setiap person, setiap orang, kata emas itu akan menimbulkan gambaran yang berbeda, ide yang berbeda, konsep yang berbeda. Yet, that does not prevent us all from using the word with the same meaning. Tapi itu tidak membuat kita, menghalangi kita untuk menggunakan kata-kata dengan makna yang sama. This means that the word gold applies to something general or possibly even universal. Jadi itu dapat diartikan kata-kata gold itu dapat digunakan secara general, dapat digunakan secara umum, atau bisa disebut dengan universal.
Hello friends, for the next material, we will discuss about triangle of meaning. Triangle is shape which has three main sides according Organ and Richard. Triangle of meaning is divided into three elements. The element is things, symbol, and reference. Every element has connection one each other. Jadi di sini maksud saya yang dinamakan segitiga adalah sebuah bentuk yang mana memiliki bagian utama. Menurut Organ dan Richard, makna yang segitiga dibagi menjadi tiga unsur maksud saya. Unsur itu adalah pikiran, simbol, dan referensi. Setiap unsur memiliki hubungan dengan yang lainnya. Pikiran adalah simbol yang punya hubungan langsung, maksudnya pikiran dan simbol mempunyai hubungan langsung. Pikiran dan referensi juga mempunyai hubungan langsung. Next, thing and symbol have direct connection. Thing and reference also have direct connection, but symbol and reference has indirect connection. Symbol is word. Thing is something in our mind that can produce meaning about object or word, and reference is object that has no connection with language, but the object has connection with human experience. Tapi di antara sumber dan referensi tidak mempunyai hubungan langsung. Simbol adalah kata, pikiran adalah sesuatu yang ada di otak kita. Jadi maksudnya pikiran adalah sesuatu yang ada di otak kita. Nah, yang mana dapat menghasilkan makna tentang objek-objek yang dimaksud kata-kata itu. Sedangkan referensi adalah sebuah objek yang mana tidak memiliki hubungan dengan bahasa, tetapi objek itu mempunyai hubungan dengan pengalaman manusia. Next. Okay. Those elements have make a harmony connection to create good meaning, easy to be understood. Oke. Unsur-unsur itu harus mempunyai hubungan-hubungan yang harmonis. Karena untuk menciptakan makna dan mudah untuk dimengerti. Oke. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Rita Anjani, and now I will give you more information about the triangle of meaning. So, you have known that the semantic triangle shows the direct relationship between words and thoughts and things. Then, the dotted lines represent the word or sign is not the thing or a referent, and there is no relation between words and things. So, let's move into the basic component of the triangle of meaning. There are three parts. The first one is a symbol or word. It is an item used to represent other things, ideas, or events. It acquires its meaning. Second is a reference. It is the initial thought you have associated with a word. And the last is a referent. It is the actual meaning of the word. Guys, the symbolic interaction theory states that society is bound together by the common use of symbols. Since the word means different things to different people in a different situation, as a human, of course, we have a different mind and different thoughts. So, here we are. I'll give you some example. Example 1. The word love makes a different sense to different people. The way in which they understand this word must be in reference to their experiences and ideas relating to this word. The next example of example 1 is, in America, socialism and communism are considered as a negative word. People even use the word communist to degrade other people. Whereas in China, the word communist is much of a great word and idea. Now, for the next information, let's move into the example 2. The word book. People, as reference, have some kind of reference or thoughts in their mind about the shape, size, etc. So, they can be able to visualize it. But, the same word book is written in some other language that will not be understandable, and they cannot visualize it. So, the referent needs some kind of previous experience or reference to understand the words. Otherwise, they cannot understand. So guys, I think that's enough from me, and this is the end of the first group presentation. I do apologize if we have any mistakes. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.